A few days ago I did a review of a theology book. The one I'm going to talk about today is definitely not a theology book. This is a book about the murder of a prostitute in New York City. The book is The Murder of Helen Jewett by Patricia Cohen. What I pointed out when I first reviewed this book, I pointed out that we shouldn't like murder mysteries. We really shouldn't. We usually do, but we shouldn't. Because when there's a real tragedy going on, someone has been killed, someone's life is over, there are families in disarray, there's a killer on trial, but we still hang on for the gory details. We really like hearing about murders. Folks, were no different in New York City in 1836, which is the setting for the real-life, true story of the murder of Helen Jewett, a lady of negotiable virtue, a prostitute, who plied her trade at an upscale brothel there in Manhattan. It's the story of Jewett's life, how she came to be who she was, how she came to do what she did for a living. And it's a story about Richard Robinson, her accused killer, and how a mild-mannered store clerk from rural New England came to New York and was arrested for Jewett's murder. And it's about the trial and about the crowds there. The crowds were mostly young. The defendant himself was 18 years old. The crowds were mostly store clerks, like the accused. And it's about how long the trial lasted and about the speculation that the judge might have been bribed. So as I point out, nothing has changed. But this is more than a murder mystery, because the author tells us vivid details about life in New York City during that time, how prostitutes lived in that era. I didn't know, for example, that prostitution was legal in New York City, and how young Americans grew up during that time and what was expected of them as far as behavior and decorum. This is a scholarly book. It's labeled History/Women's Studies, and I wouldn't take that away from Patricia Cohen, the historian who wrote the book. But if you want a better than average read that will entertain you as well as teach you, you can do no better than this. I might even suggest, since I'm writing this review, or recording this review in April, that it wouldn't be a bad beach book. The cover and the title are just trashy enough that people on the next towel won't think you're a nerd on the beach, if you're a nerd like me who thinks about what you're going to read during your vacations. It'll have to be a secret between you and me and the author, that while you're busy turning pages, you're also having your mind expanded. Thanks for listening. Take care.